Haley Jane, thank you for your comments, and it would be nice if you watched all the video, because although it's not all sunshine and rainbows, there are positive elements that I try to portray, like you're not alone if you're in this situation, keep fighting, speak up and be heard, and don't give up, even though they will try everything they can to weasel out of it. Yes, it's a rant, but I do put positive ends on it and try to help out with statistics and showing how they keep doing this and showing how to fight back and how all the other stuff. So yeah, maybe if you watch the whole video you might get that. But thank you for your comments anyway. Anyway, on to the main rants. Today we're ranting about the council yet again. Yeah, and the government and MPs in general, because first off, in this week again we have another big thing where 46 MPs have been involved in scandals for claiming so much money to stay in Westminster. So yeah, after their second houses were removed, and again I showed last time that they are nearly 80 grand a year, and that's in taxpayers' money paid directly to them to do very little else, because they tend to have second jobs and faff about and not really partake. Yeah, okay, so there's some MPs that do, but 46, that's a third of the constituency, I think, so that's a fair few. And one MP in particular, it was of the SNP, where's his name? It was Angus McNeil. He claimed £42,177 to stay in hotels in Westminster. £42,177. And they tried to put all the blame on benefits claimants and people who can't find work and say, oh yes, they're the big problem, when really they're not. It's MPs and all the expenses and spending £1 billion on a stupid blancmange in London. Yeah, all the taxpayers' money well spent there. Brilliant. Yeah, wasn't that a flop, the Millennium Dome? But they avoid all of that shit, and now they waste all the money on stupid things like that, and they want to cut off everything to the people who really need it. Yeah, so anyway, on to my side of the complaint, where, again, after 3 years of complaining and trying to contact the right department and emailing the correct email address to the correct department and never getting a response from the correct department, and messages lost in the mail, and phone calls that don't get tracked, and apparently computer problems when you go into the office and supply the proofs, I have had to involve the ombudsman. I did this last year and it's over 26 weeks now, so I managed to use the ombudsman again and be like, look, after all the last time and the few other times that I contacted them over the past couple of years, they send incorrect responses from the incorrect departments, and even Nottingham, which is stupid and nothing to do with Birmingham. I mean, yeah, we've contacted and you've contacted them, and we still don't get the response from the correct department. So after 3 years, now the ombudsman are actually investigating them, they decide to respond from the correct department. And then they say, your claim was put back into payment on the 17th of February 2012, effectively from the 3rd of October 2011. Yeah, the 17th of February is far too late, when pretty much on the 1st or 2nd of January, I had a final response from Family Housing Association saying they reclaimed the house and repossessed it, so I was definitely being evicted, and as a result I was unable to leave the home to go to job seekers and that, because I was too scared to leave for being locked out. So, and I couldn't look for work because if you got no permanent fixed abode, what can you do? And they'd started that from September, so there was a whole application that went in September, because from the date that we had things going, they weren't paying it, and they're saying, oh yes, we should have backdated it, and you should have never had to put in this fresh application. So even though the fresh application went in September, they didn't pay it till February. That's far, far too late for an application going in. And before that, there was all the constant attempts by myself and Family Housing Association in every manner of phone calls, office visits, posts, everything under the sun that wasn't being accepted. And in August, the job centre itself had already accepted that everything should have been in payment. So the fact that in September we had to put in this fresh application on the 30th of September was ridiculous, because, after the investigations had gone through from the job centre for job seekers, they accepted it was in payment, and everything was going to the DWP and Birmingham City Council for the housing benefits. And, you know, when it wasn't in payment while job seekers was, that was when we started going further with this on their side and having to put in a fresh application because they were denying payment. They would go, no, we weren't going to pay it. And now that they're under investigation, they go, yes, we should have been paying it the whole entire time. Oh, yeah, 3 years later, oh yeah, we'll pay you £629.50 for the rental period that should have been there, and then £120.58 for the council tax that you should have get for that period. Yeah, it's far too late now, 3 years later after I've lost my home, isn't it? And yeah. Comments in the description below. How much compensation do you think they're offering for losing 3 years of your life and for withholding the rent for that period, which results in you losing your home, all your possessions, floating around, them not accepting housing applications because you're stuck on ex's sofas or friends' sofas floating around different places because you've got no permanent abode and you need a permanent abode to be able to apply for this and all this shit, and they won't accept it via email, so you have to stay on a sofa in the middle of the countryside about, I don't know how many miles, there's 50 or 60 miles from Birmingham, where the transportation is so shit that you can't go to see anyone or have life or apply for work in Birmingham. Yeah. How much do you think that's worth, losing everything in your life? Well, apparently it's worth... Wait for it. I'm waiting for you to post your comments. How much do you think below? Seriously, this is ridiculous. Losing... I had furniture, cooker, utensils, everything, you know, lots of furniture, lots of cooking equipment, because obviously I work in hospitality and had all of that stuff. And it's just really offensive that they offer £250. And for the ability, 3 years of not being able to look for work and losing everything, £250. It is an insult. So, yeah, I will be continuing my absolute investigation into you, Birmingham City Council. You've admitted it never should have gone out of payment. It should have been in payment the entire bloody time. Well, why the fuck weren't you paying it then? I mean, yeah, it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, now that you lost your home and several months we paid from September, but only a couple of months after your home was already repossessed and tough shit. Yeah, you're far too late then. You wait till I've had my home repossessed and I can't claim job seekers, and for a couple of months you wait. What? What do you expect? I mean, you had me and Family Housing Association constantly badgering you to get it into payment. And it takes an investigation 3 years later by the ombudsman after millions of emails to yourself and all these other departments and to MPs who are now involved. And only then will you fucking admit that you were wrong. And no, they won't actually admit that they were wrong. They admit that it should have been in payments. They refuse to admit that they were in the wrong, even though clearly a couple of months after the home was repossessed is when you paid from September. Far too late, and even then you didn't pay the full payments of back to when it should have been. You were nearly 700 quid short on that. £629.50. And of course they still evict me. I mean, what do you think was happening? And then, oh my god, it's just ridiculous. So, £250 compensation. Do you really think that is the price of a life? Do you really think that is the price of all your possessions and everything that means anything to you? I mean, all your mementos of memories and things, and being stuck away from your friends and all that for so long? It's not, is it? It is utterly, utterly ridiculous. And if this was anything but a government institution, they would be in prison. So, yeah, I want the heads of whoever has been responsible for this. People who constantly lose the post. I mean, you send it in a post. Oh no, we haven't received it. You send it via recorded delivery. No. Royal Mail must be to blame. No, Royal Mail have said quite explicitly that they've delivered it. They've got your signature that they delivered it to you. No. It would be on our records if we received it. Yeah, well, it's easy enough if you're chucking it straight in the bin without even looking at it, isn't it? I mean, it's funny how so many documents go missing. Funny how your computers have all these errors when they're putting the things in when you visited the actual offices. Funny how phone calls don't get logs and how you don't mention all that, and constant attempt by myself and Family Housing Association to contact you in that period. Yeah, I mean, it's not funny at all, is it? No. And how would you like it if you lost your home and all of that because there's no employment going that pays enough to keep a roof over your head, so you can't find work even though you're trying? I mean, yeah, work 5 hours a day? I mean, 5 hours a week. Yeah, 5 hours a day would be fine. You can pay stuff on that. 5 hours a week? No. Yeah. So, kind of impossible to find stuff in Birmingham that's full-time in hospitality when that is what you're skilled in and trained in and gone to university to study. So, yeah, kind of looking for work in that. Would like work in that. If you got work in that in Birmingham that's full-time and want someone who isn't a scumbag, I'm more than happy to do that. But obviously I need a home back in Birmingham until I can do that. And stress and suicide attempts and all the other shit that have happened in the past 3 years. And yeah, I confuse words now and get things fucked up, which I never did before. So thanks for that. Brilliant, isn't it? £250 for all of that. Not on at all. So yeah, maybe I rant a lot about it. I've got a reason to rant about it. I mean, wouldn't you? When they're fucking you over like this and refuse to listen, and it takes the ombudsman to get involved for them to actually respond from the correct department and actually own up to it. And it's far, far too late now to be, oh yeah, now we'll pay it. And yeah, you were already too late in paying part of it back in February 2012, weren't you? Effectively from October 2011? No good when the home's already been repossessed, is it? And still, you know, you're refusing to pay the full amount, so fuck you. That's all I got to say on that matter. And if you're in similar situations, don't give up. Contact the Ombudsman, keep on at them, and yeah, maybe they'll give you such a shitty response, but the Ombudsman are involved, and hopefully they will have more better compensation and get me home back in Birmingham so I can get my life back. Because Birmingham City Council certainly don't want to, or accept housing applications. I mean, what? I don't know, is it the 8th or 9th that I've sent in the 3 years, including email applications and all this other shit? Probably more than that, actually, but yeah, it's kind of ridiculous that they can't accept even the postal ones. There were 3 in the last year that went missing. Strange how that happens. And then they've sent, oh yeah, we'll be happy to arrange to put you on the register. It's been 15, 16 days since then, and I've emailed you a few times, and I've said, yeah, I think I've expressed quite clearly I want to be put on the housing register, and I never should have been made homeless in the first place. So yeah, I think you've got a duty of care to get me back to a home and to my life. No response. I guess maybe because they're under investigation, but I mean, if they're delaying because they're under investigation, they're just fucking themselves over more now, aren't they? Because you should be getting move on, doing things. 250 quid. Is that what your life's worth? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, if you're a scum shit like that, yeah, maybe that's all you're worth. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. And there will be more progress on this. I will keep you informed.